My name is Meridor Steerheim.
My name is H.T. Smith.
My name is Marilyn Hollyfield.
I'm Stuart Lumberg.
Greetings. I'm Larry Rice. I serve as Vice President and Dean of Academic Affairs at Johnson & Wales University.
The genesis was during the Black Boycott. And as the leader of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, I was very concerned that this was hurting the image of the community and so forth and so on. And I tried to think of how we could address that issue. And that's how the HOT Challenge and the scholarship program had its beginning, because I thought the way to do that is through education.
And the first thing we had to do was to acquaint blacks in school with the vast opportunities that are available for jobs and for businesses, and secondly, to provide scholarships and other financial assistance so that blacks could prepare themselves to take advantage of those jobs, not just at the entry level, but also at the mid-level and also at the top.
It's critical for the #1 industry in Miami-Dade County to be that the employees in that industry represent the community that we live in.
Generating scholarships, supporting the education of black people in areas involving the tourism industry is just one important piece of the overall enhancement of opportunities for blacks to participate in the tourism industry.
In 1989, I read the annual report of the Convention and Visitors Bureau and saw at that time that it was a $5 billion business, and 20% of all of the conventions of visitors were people of African descent.
The claim was made that the hotel industry, the visitor industry, didn't employ African American people of color.
There was hardly a black waiter in the major hotels, in the banquet rooms of the major hotels in this county.
We went and checked the EEOC in Atlanta and determined that about 26% of the employees were African American people of color, when the population was 18 or 19%. But the response was, wait a minute, those people are making beds, carrying the bags, they're not in the front office, they're not at the front registration desk, they're not in paraprofessional positions and so forth. So we did some more research, and that claim was accurate.
Yeah, the Black Hospitality Initiative is important because for many, many years, blacks were excluded from meaningful business and employment opportunities in a key industry in Miami-Dade County, which is tourism.
Well, this was just one part of an overall strategy that was fueled by the quiet revolution, the quiet struggle of the African American black-led boycott of the tourism industry in Miami-Dade County.
Well, having been in the hotel industry for over 50 some odd years, there was a disconnect, I felt, not only triggered by what the boycott happened, but it was triggered between the fact that there was a disconnect between the young African American students that were in the middle schools and the high schools, and a disconnect from our industry. And the effort to connect the dots, so to say, and bring those young people into our industry, because it is the #1 industry in Miami-Dade County.
Back during the African American tourism boycott, the disparity was glaring both at the entry level and management level. No black-owned hotels, very few black businesses participating in the tourism industry. So we were part of the group that formed the then known as the Visitor Industry Council. I'm proud to say that with my boss, Merit Steerheim, here at the Bureau, we participated in that process. So what motivated me was the disparity.
Sat down with FIU and did some soul searching and said, well, I filed a grant with the Knight Foundation, and we got a 3-year grant, $250,000 as I recall. I raised $100,000 from the industry itself by making phone calls, so we had $350,000 to start with. And then we determined that we would do the HOT Challenge, Hospitality Open Golf Tournament, HOT.
Now for the past 21 years, programs have been established to familiarize blacks with opportunities and to give them opportunities employment-wise, ownership-wise, and in terms of vendoring. But we can backslide, and we need to make sure that we continue to improve upon the programs that we already have and improve upon the inclusiveness of blacks in this industry.
The ability to marry education, young people, and the hospitality industry was the perfect mission, and that mission has really come back to be terrific 200-fold over the years.
It's very hard to go into an establishment and see people like myself in higher positions. And it is disheartening. I think there has been tremendous strides, but there's yet more work to be done. And at the end of the day, I had to ask myself the question, what do you stand for? And I believe that by working with the Black Hospitality Initiative, I was able to provide an opportunity for students and then teach them to ask themselves that same question.
Miami brags about the fact that it is one of the most diverse places in America. Well, our tourism industry, the jobs and business opportunities should also reflect that diversity, and that obviously includes blacks.
I think we just need to remain focused. I know in terms of the if you call the boycott settlement, there was a commitment by the industry, by the Bureau, to provide 125 scholarships. We achieved that goal many years ago.
We now have scholarships in perpetuity, forever, for African Americans to be able to get the necessary credentials, the training, and education to take advantage of the vast opportunities in Miami's hospitality industry.
And we've done that every year now for the last 25 years, and every year we started earning about 60,000, 70, and then it got up to 100 and so forth. And the proceeds all go into paying for scholarships, mentoring.
It's only a program that we started so many years ago, and the momentum that we created, it only can get better. You don't look back. You know that you've accomplished something that's really outstanding, not only for the community, but for the young people that are involved in it.
We finally built the first black-owned convention quality hotel in the history of America, right here in Miami.
The Royal Palm Hotel was a crowning achievement. That was one of the pillars that our volunteers and the boycott leaders, when they worked out a settlement, was an African American hotel.
I think tourism is important it is extremely important in Miami. And I got involved 25 years ago when I opened a store at Bayside. And from that, I got really involved, trying to make sure that all of Miami was represented in the tourism industry.
I believe that the mission is important. I have worked with the BHI for the last 20 years. I've seen the growth of the community. I've seen the awareness impact the community. I've seen the economic benefit to the community that BHI has brought. As a result, we have seen a drop in brain drain, as an example. It was at a time when students would graduate on a Friday. They would be on the bus going to another destination, whether it's Atlanta, New York, or Chicago, on Saturday. And what we have today is kids want to stay here.
The benefit for me was tremendous. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. Let me just say that I just got back from Haiti. I was teaching hospitality there as part of a vocational program for the past year. The year before that, I spent in China. I was teaching hospitality there for FIU, my alma mater. I've had my own catering company. I have served 4,000 guests for Basel. I've even catered parties right where we're standing today, 1,200 people, 1,500 people. I have done so many things that I only dreamed of that came true for me because of this scholarship program.
The Visitors Industry Council, that's what it was called back then. Now it's called the BHI, just the Black Hospitality Initiative. If it wasn't for them, I honestly wouldn't be in here. It's tough, actually. I was working full time and trying to go to school, and it couldn't happen. I couldn't make ends meet, trying to pay my bills and everything else. Once it was brought to my attention that I could get a scholarship with this program, which I knew nothing about, and it was almost like something that you would think that doesn't exist. Like, I get a full scholarship, really? And they'll pay for books? I was amazed. I was blown away by it.
When I was a student, unfortunately I had to work 2 jobs while going to school. And it was not easy. And I remember, even as a young student, matriculating through college, always asking the question, does it really have to be this way? I mean, there were opportunities that were afforded other students that I couldn't participate in. Couldn't travel, couldn't go study abroad. And I knew that yet those opportunities existed, but all I could see was the need to stay focused, work while going to school.
We have grown the industry. We have grown African Americans and people of color in this industry. We have trained and given scholarships to several hundreds of students. We have done customer service training, and we're now working in the neighborhoods to bring more tourism to the heritage neighborhoods.
You have people like Dr. Larry Rice, who is one of the people I look up to, people like Mr. Al West, who really kind of sits there on his throne, and I kind of look at him like, you know, when I grow up I want to be just like this guy.
I want to thank all of the honorees for coming together over the last 20 years and providing leadership and inspiration for the Black Hospitality Initiative. I would especially like to thank Mary Steerheim and H.T. Smith for partnering to come together to provide a vision and a roadmap for the Black Hospitality Initiative to follow. So again, thank you, gentlemen, for what you've done over the many years, and I look forward to many more years of your presence here in Miami-Dade County, providing the same type of leadership.
I think I want to get on the record that Cindy and I are regret we can't be at this great event tonight on the 28th. We are out of the country, so I think everyone, and I wish I could be there.
We're finally beginning to see meaningful diversity, not only of opportunities, but also of employment. And that's what the whole purpose of this Black Hospitality Initiative was all about.
And I'll tell you, the most rewarding thing for me is when I go to the Hot Challenge and a young man or woman comes up to me and says thank you, and I don't even know them. And they say thank you for the opportunity. And